we're back. Thank you. So now we're going to kind of shift the focus more around specific economic development initiatives. And obviously, over the last 7.5 years, a lot of movement has been done in that area. We had the Hamilton Canal, we had the Tsongas Arena going over to the university. Obviously, a lot of things great things happening that are letting people know Lowell's a great place to live. It's active, it's vibrant, there's lots to do. There's affordable housing for families. And in the future, we want to keep having that. We want to make sure that people can afford to live here, that they have good jobs, that they can take care of their families. And economic development is a key component of that, making sure that our city remains healthy and vibrant. So can you talk a little bit about the relationship between the institutions of education? So we have the university, Middlesex Community College, and what role do they play in economic development in the city?
Well, let me just, before we start on that, let me just talk a little bit about economic development in general, because I think it's important that people have some perspective on that. That it has been a top priority, and I think we've seen some great successes with the Hamilton Canal project, some other major developments that have happened in the city. Certainly the development of the mill space into housing, which it has been long in the making, but continues that progress moving forward. We have more jobs now in the city of Lowell than we have since the 1980s. That's an important number for people to realize, that the economic expansion that's taken place over the last 7 years in the midst of a major recession, the worst since the Depression, that we have grown jobs here in the city. Now, they aren't necessarily held by city people. I realize that the unemployment rate is still far too high here in the city. But that economic activity should have an effect for everyone. We have more businesses now than we had in 2006. We're one of the only communities that can point to that. Our values have gone up more than any other major city here in the Commonwealth. So, some very good indicators there. Certainly one advantage that we have is the university, that they're a major draw of businesses to the area to either serve the university or people that want to come and take advantage of the workforce at the university and the workforce and the research that the university does.
Absolutely.
I was thinking of a couple of things that maybe the university could do to help out. One of them, I think they already do, is they provide a service to the city with education, like the high school students. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure the extent of that. Maybe Middlesex does the same thing. But they've provided a service. You'd probably like to have them make a payment in lieu of taxes. Mm-hmm. But where they're giving you a service in lieu of taxes, if they dollarize that service, right, could you use that to help your net school spending?
No, because I think it's outside. Well, that's an interesting one. That would be one that we'd have to look at. They probably wouldn't allow us, but I think a good case could be made for that we are hosting the university and the community college, and they do have that program that high school students are able to go into the Middlesex Community College and take classes, and you can kind of work your way through from Middlesex as a smooth transition because of the programs they have there into the university. So it's a great cycle that they go through, and certainly the university is helpful at the high school and and as I'm sure as I know Middlesex is, to work with students there. And it would be helpful, since they don't pay taxes to the city, and the state doesn't really give us money, or certainly not nearly as much in terms of a payment in lieu of taxes on the state cherry sheet, mm-hmm, that you should be able to say, okay, well, we're getting this, so now we could say that's our contribution. But that would be an interesting one for someone to pursue. But there is a great relationship between the university and the city in so many different ways. Working with us on having businesses that incubate here, that then stay here in the city, they move to other space, working with us on creating more incubator space, even in some of the private buildings here, so that it continues to expand the activity of the university.
Could they help you out a little bit more by waiving royalties on any intellectual property that they have if they cite it in Lowell?
That would be certainly something worth pursuing, that they could do that. They see it as a business model as well, though, for them to grow themselves. Mm-hmm. But that's something that certainly I think that there's some opportunities there for discussion. We've benefited so much by the university's growth over these past few years. I think the chancellor has done a remarkable job in really leading the university. He has a very high standard of excellence. that he wants the university to be a major player across the world. I could say in the city, but clearly they're that. They're certainly in the region, certainly in the state, but it goes beyond that, in terms of people coming here and recognizing the university. And we also have that great community college, Middlesex Community College, one of the best community colleges in the country. And again, it's that commitment to partnering with the city and partnering with others institutions here in the city that makes them so successful. But as the university and the community college prosper, the city benefits. But it's important for them that the city be in good shape, because they need to attract students, they need to attract faculty, and they need to continue to be look at Lowell as their home. And I think both Carol Cowan as president of MCC and Marty Meehan as chancellor get that, and they want to be involved, and we work closely on so many different issues.
Yeah. One of the immediate things I always notice is the amount of students in the downtown, right? The ones, and there's been a lot of research done through the university and the community college about the economic activity that students are doing. And what I love to see is all the students coming out for arts and culture events. Right. You can see along many of the galleries we have on Market Street or Merrimack Street, when you go in them, you see a nice diverse group of populations, and it starts with students all the way up. And I think it really adds to a very vibrant community. So it's great to have that influx of students every year, and it changes, and it's really interesting to think about how many stay in Lowell. Right. And I think what's key
that's the big change.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think what's key is that the university and the community college, they have programs where they're putting students in organizations in the community. They're getting them in work situations in the community, and so those bonds are being built between the students. And so when it's time for them to kind of move on, they've graduated, the younger generations are starting more businesses, right? And so they're going to be much more connected to Lowell and want to start these businesses, and so that's really exciting for the future of Lowell.
I think that's a great point, Stacie, that the students nowadays are part of the community. I mean, before it was a community school, they used to come and go. Now I see more people involved in organizations that I belong to, and I see more people. Stacie, where'd you come from? Well, I came here to school and I stayed.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And really, so that's really a major benefit to the city.
Well, I look at myself and my own history, and I even when I was still living down in Ashland, I would come up to Lowell on a regular basis, because of my being a student here or having been a student here, and and that was then. This is now it's vastly different. The city's a different type of place. And it embraces that creative class. It embraces those the arts and the culture and the people. It's that quality of life that people are looking for. Absolutely. And it's great that we sort of when we talk about our market of who we try to attract to the city, the young professionals. But it also attracts the empty nesters, the people that again want to be part of a community that they can participate in, and they can be. Something happening within the city, and that's a great thing to see as well.
You mentioned marketing, and I really am very curious about that, because I think what's key for Lowell is making sure the rest of the state, the rest of the region knows all the exciting stuff going on here, knows how we are the best medium-sized city in all of the country, in the center of the universe, right? But what are we doing as a city to promote Lowell? And very curious over the last couple of years. I know there's been a couple different sort of marketing strategies. So I'd like to hear more about that, but also economic development wise, what are we doing to go out and tell businesses, hey, come here, this is an exciting place for you to be?
Well, we should always be doing more. A lot of it costs money, and we've been limited in that area. Of course, the marketing part is one that's interesting now. With the social media, it's pretty cheap to do that. But so we do quite a bit of outreach in that way of bringing people into the city, letting people know what's going on here. Our Lowell.org website lets people know the happenings here. My first year here, second year here, we created the Cultural Affairs and Special Events Office to tie in with COOL, Cultural Organization of Lowell, to try to get more of a coordinated approach to using the arts and culture as a means to attract people into the city to visit, because we know once they visit they're going to want to live here, or we know they're going to talk to their employers about locating here. We tie in with all the brokers to let people know about the space we have available. We tie it in with the State Office of Business Development to let them know, and so that when we hear of a company that's interested or looking for space, we're out there doing it. We're very active right now with the Middlesex 3 Coalition. Economic development isn't something that just happens in a single city. It happens in a region. And so tied in with Burlington, Bedford, Billerica, and Chelmsford, we've created this organization that brings businesses to the area and really highlights. If you're looking for really cutting-edge old mill space, we've got it. For that matter, with Crosspoint, we have a beautiful modern building with amazing systems within that building that businesses like. So we can show a lot there. But for us, if a business chooses not to locate in Lowell, they might locate in Billerica, but they still employ Lowell people. But likewise, for the people from Billerica, it's great to have the resources that we have right here in the city of Lowell to have businesses here. So we look at it as a regional perspective. And we all offer something just a little bit different. I happen to think Lowell offers the best of everything with space, because we have the amenities that businesses look for now for their employees.
Boston Magazine recently had an article for, I think they called high-powered couples. Best place to move in the greater Boston area was Lincoln, with an average house price over $1 million. The third best was Needham.
Right.
The second best was Lowell.
Right, because it's a very, because of what we offer here with the amenities, and it's reasonable price that you can actually make money on when you sell, because the prices has gone up so much. I think that was one of the points that Boston Magazine had, is the value had gone up so much. So yeah, it's what people are looking for. Some people want to live in a Lincoln, wonderful little town. Sleepy, but wonderful little town. There's a lot more happening here for the people that are, I talk to people that have moved here from Lincoln or Sudbury or Chelmsford, people that moved out from Boston that have located here because of the availability of space and the amenities that we have here. So it's great to see that type of policy.
And people like the buzz. There's a buzz in the city. There's an energy level that, if you like that, this is a great place to live. I mean, it's just a wonderful place to live. Yeah. So when you are an empty nesters, why not? Move downtown, or maybe.
I moved downtown just a couple months ago. I was able to sell my house in Chelmsford. I'm living downtown, and I love it. It's I've got the ability to walk around downtown, and I walk to work every day, and just sort of spend my time just going out to eat, getting my
There's
coffee.
so much available right in your backyard.
Right, exactly.
What I find really amazing is not even the people necessarily moving here, but I will often stop people that are, kind of coming out of one restaurant on their way to something else, and I'll ask them, oh, where, haven't seen your face, so I'll be, oh, where are you from? And oftentimes it's from the suburb areas, a lot of the Lexington, Lincoln area. So more and more people are also recognizing Lowell as a great place to come and just kind of hang out too, not necessarily just to live in.
I think, obviously I've had my issues, as people know, with the media, the traditional media sometimes, because I think that it's great stories to tell that we really need to push. And I think that media should play a little bit more of a, I don't want them to be a cheer, I don't want them to gloss over the things that are wrong. Right. But talk about the successes, talk about the new businesses that are moved into the city, talk about the investments that are taking place. Some great stuff happening out there that people should know about and should appreciate.
We all are ambassadors for Lowell, and we all need to be spreading the good word, if it be through social media, regular traditional forms.
And we can't forget the immigrants that come in and re-energize certain neighborhoods and re-energize certain pockets. I'm an immigrant from a long time ago, but every day I seem to meet somebody that came from a different place. I mean, I'm amazed at the number of different countries Lowell's representing today.
Yeah. Well, I had a conversation the other day. We had our White Ribbon Day, our movement against domestic violence that we do once a year. And a group of refugees from the International Institute came up to participate. And I had a conversation right afterwards with about 10 Iraqis who have moved to the city and are anxious to get involved and learn about the city. And so that's a whole other group of people now that are, and they bring, you know, their culture, their identity here,
And their energy too.
their energy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and their excitement is being part of a, you know, the city.
Immigrants and refugees have a certain energy level. You know, if they toughen it up to come here. They love it, and I really, when I see so many different kinds of faces, I said, "This is a great place."
Right. Which is why I'm glad we, you know, one of the things we did too is we reformed the Immigration Commission and empowered them to reach out and how can we help new immigrants, refugees become more part of the community.
Well, we have a lot of agencies too that help that. A city like us obviously requires different kinds of assistance to the people.
Right.
Now,
It's all very helpful.
So one of the things that happened a lot in the last year during the city council race was the conversation around the business tax. And so obviously we have a great place. People, you know, businesses want to locate here for many different reasons. What is your response to the thought of how do we deal with the business tax? Should it be lowered to encourage more businesses?
Well, you know, and I know I'm asked this quite a bit. The reality is, and some people might find this hard to believe, that the data shows, or the studies show, that taxes are a pretty small part of what people use as a decision. And certainly talking to the businesses that I talk to, very few ever talk about the taxes. They talk about the space, they talk about the location, they talk about the infrastructure, most importantly, they talk about the workforce. When people come to us for TIFs, tax increment financing deals that reduce their property taxes, the reality is that the reason they're looking for that isn't so much to get the property tax relief, which is usually very, very small, but it's to get the state tax credits that they use on their investments.
To rehab many of the buildings that desperately need it. Yeah.
The other thing is that if you look at taxes on a per square foot basis, the tax burden here in the city, because of our values, although we've seen the values go up, they're still lower than other areas. The taxes here are less. Now, Chelmsford has a single tax rate. Commercial and residential are the same, whereas we have the widest split that you can have. If you look at a McDonald's and I know, you know, we're talking about more than just McDonald's, but just by comparison, if you look at a McDonald's in Chelmsford and a McDonald's in Lowell, the McDonald's in Lowell is paying less in total taxes than the McDonald's in Chelmsford. The Big Macs cost the same, but the taxes are lower. If you look at industrial space, commercial space, again, on a per square foot basis, the commercial tax burden here is lower than many of these suburban communities. What's interesting is the communities that have the widest split, Billerica, Burlington, and Lowell, we have the hottest real estate markets. The ones that have the single rate are having trouble filling themselves up.
Yeah.
Now, one year I'd like to see a true discussion at the council floor. I mean, every time ex-councilor Joe Mendonca will make the motion, you know, gets defeated. I think
There should be a discussion.
This should be a discussion. I
Absolutely.
really, you know, I'm sure that all the statistics you're giving are accurate, but I like to see a philosophical discussion and the city council decide, reaffirm that yes, that's what we want to do, or no, maybe we'll look at something.
Yeah, I don't think it would
different.
hurt to necessarily knock it down a little bit, let me say that, but I don't think it's the prime decision maker.
Right, exactly. So great, we are actually at a point to wrap up, and I want to thank all of you for coming and being on the show. I also, I can't speak on behalf of everybody, but I will say a lot of the people I've talked to over the last few years definitely always respected what you were doing in your office, and it's really been an honor to be able to interview you in your last couple days. Many accomplishments, everything from infrastructure to getting in the neighborhoods to really getting us in a fiscally healthy position, and you've done a tremendous amount of work. So I look forward to seeing you around Lowell as a fellow resident, and I want to thank you for all your service.
Well, thank you. It's been a great experience for me, and one that really is a great way to sort of end my career in municipal government, but I look forward to continuing being part of what's happening here in the city.
Great, thank you.
Thank
And
you.
I also want to thank Joe Smith and Mimi for joining us. You've been watching Threads. Thank you.